Wait. You're
Oh,
on,
I
Sarah.
think we're live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I hope you're all enjoying a nice day off at home today. As you know, as I mentioned last week when I was visiting with my friend Lisa, we decided that while we all have a little bit of time off in January and February, we get back to kind of our old school formatting, how we used to entertain you guys during COVID. So we're going to get back to having chats every Monday. So coffee chat. I have my coffee, but my guests apparently have wine. But that's okay. We'll get to that. So every day we're going to try to have something fun to keep you guys virtually traveling. So either a chat on Mondays, we're going to try to do slideshows every Friday. We're going to be doing cooking. I'm going to have some special guests from around the world cooking with me. And my kids have even reluctantly agreed to return to the kitchen with me, even though that they got really burnt out of cooking for you guys for whatever it was, 2 years straight. So anyway, so this is our first week of kind of getting back to the old format. Last week, we kind of started that by talking about Turkey. And so that's going to be one of our roundtable guests today, my friend Taylan. Hello, Taylan. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Where are you? Are you in Istanbul?
I'm in Istanbul right now, yes.
Ah, okay, cool. And as usual, joining me is my partner in crime, Andrew Vallone, coming to us from Slovenia, question mark?
Slovenia, yes, but a little bit of, little tribute to Thailand in the background because my background photo is from Turkey. So I'm with you there in spirit, buddy.
By the way, I mean, your background picture has a background of Syria. That's like the Syrian border, view of Syria in the background.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have borders anymore, man. I'm just
you don't believe in them. You don't believe in them anymore.
No, that'll be my travel prediction, maybe.
All right. So before we jump into our conversation, I just want to let you know that the three of us have actually started recording some podcasts. We started last year and then we got distracted, but we have a bunch of podcasts we are going to start putting out. Andrew, how many do we have lined up?
I believe we have half a dozen already, and we're gonna have not including this conversation.
So it's called the Travel Happy Hour, and we're going to get back to trying to produce those. We just get busy with tours, and it's a little bit hard to do it. So we're going to try to relaunch and get back to the three of us chit-chatting about all kinds of things on the Travel Happy Hour. So that's going to be coming at you again as well. So anyway, okay, here we go. Today, I am going to be hosting a little roundtable chat with my two friends, Andrew and Taylan. And our topic today is going to be a little quick look back at 2025 travel and what that looked like. And then we're going to look into our glowing orbs, our crystal balls, and we're going to tell you our travel forecasts for 2026. So let's kick off by heading over to Taylan. Taylan, tell me a little bit about your 2025 and what did you see in travel for 2025?
Well, my 2025 was actually pretty busy. Turkey tours in Turkey was getting a lot more attention because we start hearing Turkey a lot more in the news, global news as well, thanks to our political impact globally, and to our president also. Just like many other countries have their political impacts through their presidents. But it actually turned out to be a positive one. So a lot of people started visiting Turkey. So I was actually pretty busy. I really enjoyed it. But when I look at the global trends, I like following tourism industry. It's been 25 years that I'm in this industry. So I like to keep up with it from time to time. And what I saw was actually a slowdown of the COVID's after COVID, post-COVID revenge travel that people had, like, oh my God, we're all going to die, so we have to travel, kind of a thing, is slowing down. That's for sure. Maybe people are not dying anymore, and maybe they realize that they should spend more time with their family. I don't know. I have no idea. Or maybe it's just purely economic, related with their financial status. But we see a slowdown in this post-COVID travel, and also slowdown in the what I would call, what you call actually in US, the age group as boomer. Numbers of a certain age group has slowed down. I mean, it's obvious as well. So a lot younger people are traveling lately, and the major trend around the around the globe was actually much younger than 30, 20 to 30 started traveling, and they're using new technologies. They're using AI. They're using AI. I'm going to get back to that, but interestingly, different than our generation. One, they do travel for certain experiences, but mostly for like things that they see on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And they like to post stuff there too. And the most interesting for me was that they don't like to drink. No alcohol, almost no alcohol. They do like parties. They do DJ setups and parties early in the morning with coffee in their hands. Like they have a barista in the corner, and they're having a DJ playing in a small venue, and they're dancing. For I have no idea how can they do this.
Well, I was saying earlier that like the thing that kind of irritates me, I mean, not irritates me, but I find curious about Gen Z because I live with two Gen Zers, and
Yeah.
my observation of their generation is they kind of don't know how to have fun. I mean, I hate to be the Gen Xer in the room going, we had a better childhood, but like they don't, I mean, and maybe this is not fun, but they didn't ever do crank calls. They can't because there's caller ID. They couldn't like TP their friend's house because there's like ring cameras. Like they don't know how to have fun. I feel like so many times I'm trying to like teach my children how to have a good time. So I'm not surprised by your trend, Taylan.
Yeah, and if they want to have fun, you know what they do? They will ask an AI app like ChatGPT or something like that. Like, how can I have fun? So this is the new trend. So the places that they visit, they use these apps. And my own personal experience out of ChatGPT and other ones, which I don't actually use it. We've been speaking with Andrew actually before we started the meeting. Uh, they are not accurate all the time.
No.
And but for this generation that we're talking about, people who are younger than 30, it is for many it's the first source of information.
Yeah.
They ask.
No, I see that. That's been really kind of a problem because I've seen people say, "Oh, what do you need a travel advisor for?" I can just do Chat GPT. Well, Chat GPT is going to tell you whatever is ever on stuff on like TripAdvisor or something. And as we know, TripAdvisor is not exactly the most accurate source of information. So,
I mean, I can. I'll just pass the ball to you in a minute, but I can definitely say that there are a lot of useful ways to use AI, especially like I don't know, like find me airline connections kind of a thing, and then you go and do your own thing. You don't let AI book it for you. So what I'm saying is that if you are cross-checking it, it's a good resource, but right now it is still the same thing that you will be finding with a proper Google search.
absolutely. I think that's really true. So that's good. So we've got like kind of the decline of boomers in travel, which I think we've actually been seeing that in real time. That's true because my dad is a boomer and he's 77. And, you know, some of our travelers who like 80 and above, that's still a little bit of a different generation, but they are getting up there in age. And that means some people are stopping travel. And they were the major force in travel over most of my career at 25 years also. It's mostly been boomers traveling with me. So that is a huge change we're seeing. I think you're absolutely right about that, Taylan. So that's absolutely wonderful. Look back at 2025. Andrew, what is your like look back at 2025? What did you see in 2025?
Well, all I can say is, Tyler, the people you were observing not drinking, like the counterbalance are all the people that I was seeing and traveling with me drinking. So I didn't see any decline. But again, you know, like we have a little bit of a different audience in that. Well, a couple things I did notice. Younger. Like I think this past year, I think we had probably more guests on our tours that were under 50. So, and that's been kind of the way it's been trending, I think maybe since post-COVID. A few more younger people, not necessarily Gen Z folks. But also what I noticed, well, this is more just me traveling, not so much our tours per se, Sarah, is I notice a lot more people from different countries everywhere. Like when I get off
Yeah.
the plane now and I'm waiting in line for passport control, I just like look at everyone's passport. I'm trying to figure out where everyone's from. I think there's a bigger variety of people traveling these days. Wherever it is. I mean, like for instance, I think we can all say like, hey, usually you don't see a whole lot of French in Europe. Like it's kind of hard to see French unless you're in France. But I notice like French people all over the place in Asia and Middle East. Like, oh, I'm like hearing them as groups, and I never kind of noticed that before. But
Yeah,
I
I think
noticed
you're
Indians.
I would say French people, by the way, you see a ton in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia and North
Oh, okay.
Africa, tons of French people. But you're right. I think that's true. I think they're traveling all over the place now, people from other countries. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed Indian passports. I noticed Malaysians. I mean, it's just kind of and it's kind of fun actually because you're going to actually talk with them on an airplane or in the airport or wherever you're at. I mean, that's the whole part of traveling anyway is meeting different people. I think there's maybe like a bigger mix of people to meet now because I think it's not just like, hey, travel's more affordable, i.e., for Europeans going in Europe or elsewhere and Americans, but these other groups. And then the last thing, this is more of a personal thing, is I decided to do most of my travels unplanned. I mean, as much as I could. So I was really just showing up without even having like, hey, how am I going to get from the airport to wherever? I'll just kind of figure it out. And I suppose there's some tie in there with AI and Google and how much you want to trust that, which I've learned not much. I want to trust, but in some ways, it kind of put a little bit more energy and fun back into the travel component, having things less planned. Because as you know, like all three of us, we have to be very planned for our guests. It's kind of nice to like say, hey, let's mix it up. I don't need to know everything. Like when I get to Bali, I'm going to find something amazing there, or some local person can tell me many things that AI and TripAdvisor can't. And I kind of think that's a fun thing. Maybe I would like to do more of is have that kind of unplanned. Well, I'll wait until I get there and find out from someone who lives there what we should be doing and seeing.
Wow, see, I haven't heard that in a long time. And that actually goes to what I would say are my observations of 2025. Definitely the travel market has cooled off. Like that is for sure. The travel market has cooled a lot. And part of that is exactly to Taylan's point that revenge travel, it's not just the revenge travel, but I think people had accrued so much like vacation time, especially Americans, that they were just spending it. And I think for sure the travel market is cooling. I think inflation is really stymieing travel. I think people have less disposable income for travel. So we definitely saw, I would say, kind of a cooling off in general to both of your points. And I hope that's not the case going forward for us specifically, but I think that is the case around the world. I think I also saw, as Taylan pointed out, the continuing rise of the Instagram saturation point. I had kind of a dispiriting experience in Rome this year when I saw a red velvet rope in front of a storefront in Rome that had been many things in the past, kind of like an Asian grocery store or whatever. We had been a bunch of kind of weird stuff. And then now it's some like pasta restaurant that apparently everybody knows because of Instagram, and people are waiting in line, and the pasta looked disgusting. And I talked to my friends in Rome and they're like, that is the worst restaurant. And it's a totally fake Instagram thing. And so like, this is the thing that I've been seeing is that these Instagram restaurants, I think the trend I saw in 2025 is a little bit of a backlash starting. And this is kind of a projection for me for 2026 is people starting to see through the Instagram sort of fakeness, the TikTok Instagram restaurant that becomes really famous. The problem with this restaurant is it had really good Google reviews, even though people who actually know food know it's terrible. It's because the people that go there don't know any better, and then they have this experience and they feel so cool because they had that TikTok experience. So this has been a thing that I've definitely saw is I saw more than one business that is not a good business, that is not a good restaurant, that is not a good whatever, is not a good hotel, but they do really well because of TikTok and Instagram coverage. So there's an end to this, I think. I think this is not going to last forever. So that's going to be one of my first predictions of 2026 is the patina of the sheen of these Instagram places is going to start to crack, and people are going to realize some of those things are not what they seem. I think in 2026, the other thing I saw is I think I did start to see what I would call, the slowing down of the boomer generations. I think I'm seeing more of a millennial surge. Gen X for sure. Gen X is coming on pretty strong, and I've been really surprised. I guess I just didn't see myself aging somehow. I don't know. I still, Andrew, I think you and I are still like in our 20s and like partying on Capitol Hill, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like that was like yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't see us aging. It kind of just came at me as a surprise. And so I saw on my tours this year a lot of people my age. And people my age, I'm like, oh, that's so cool that you're able to get vacation and whatever. And they'd be like, oh, I'm retired. And I'm like, what? How are you retired? You're my age, you know? I mean, some people, I'm not old enough to retire, but like, I mean, I think there are some people that can take early retirement, but I am seeing a lot of Gen X people on tours. And I think they're going to start to become, even though we're not a big generation, I think we're going to see a lot more Gen Xers. And I love that because I just think we have a very interesting ethos. I think what we like and the things that really drive our passions are very different than the previous generations, because I think that the boomer travel was very much about see it all in 2 weeks, you know, the 2 nights everywhere, check the box kind of travel where they're just trying to see as much as they can. And kind of say, oh, take your picture in front of the Coliseum and go, that kind of thing. But I don't think Gen Xers, we're kind of not into that. We're into kind of quirky stuff. We're into slower travel. We're into kind of like settling in. So I think like our staycations, like I think people love that kind of stuff. They love a little bit slower pace. I think that Gen X is going to be a really interesting and transformative presence as the new kind of retirement generation over the next 10 years. So I'm starting to see that more, because for ages, I did not see a lot of people my age. I would see millennials, like, you know, people like we have some millennial clients who travel with us quite a bit. And they're people who have 2 professionals that don't have kids and have a lot of disposable income, whereas most Gen Xers have kids. And we just don't have the time and the money to travel. So that's kind of one of the first things I noticed of last year is how many more Gen Xers are finally getting out and travel. Mostly because our kids are in college. Both of my kids are in college. Like a lot of people are empty nesters, and that's super weird. I mean, I'm probably never going to be an empty nester, but there are a lot of families out there that are empty nesters. Yeah, you're laughing because you know. It's because I'm too cool. My kids.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, I hang out in the basement and play video games with them too. So you know, they're cool. But anyway, so I think that is the top trend that I saw last year that really was remarkable to me, is how many Gen Xers I'm seeing that I've never seen before. Couples in particular, like single women that, you know, have always been a massive force in travel of all ages, but Gen X couples with children, that's starting to be interesting because there's so many of them that have children that are going off to college and finally have the freedom to be able to go on vacations whenever they want. So I think that would be my top trend. And then I would also say my other top trend is people taking bigger and bigger suitcases, which I got to do something about that. I got to help people get back to that. So I got to do more of my light packing stuff and try to convince
more videos from you.
More videos, man. Like the amount of giant suitcases out there still, it just amazes me how many people, I think it's the Instagram stuff, right? Like people see these Instagram things where these people have on fancy, you know, ensembles every day and they feel like they have to do that. And I'm like, why? Like, it's so weird. You don't need to look like you're going to the prom every day that you're in Paris. People do not dress like Emily in Paris. They don't. Nobody in Paris dresses like that. Dress like your own self. So yeah, so that's.
There was a trend one time that I saw people carrying a big luggages into a couple of nights of a train ride, and then I realized that they were actually decorating their cabins, their rooms.
What?
Yes.
On the train?
On the train, and having these like lights and candles and I don't know, a bunch of stuff, and having videos for Instagram. That's what the suitcases were for.
My God. Yeah, this is just, Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is just getting kind of ridiculous because it's all for the Instagram, right? They're doing it
Yeah.
for the TikTok and the Instagram. And I just kind of feel like this is a dispiriting trend to me is how many people travel now just for that. They travel for the Instagram, they travel for the TikTok. They're not traveling to enlighten themselves or expand their minds. Like I went traveling when I was in my 20s, so I could like nerd out and read poetry and, sit on trains and sulk and like write like important literature in my journal. Like we all thought we were such poets, but now it's like everybody thinks they're an Instagrammer. So I don't know.
Your keywords are read and write, which does not fit anything today.
Yeah. What are those?
What?
What?
Huh? What?
Anyway, all right. So enough of us being grippy old people. So let's look into our crystal balls. Now we're going to get out our crystal balls and we're all going to kind of look and see what we think is going to happen next. Based on the trends we saw in the past, what's going to happen in 2026. So who wants to go first? Taylan, did you want to go first?
Why not?
All right. What do you see that's going to happen? And I'm going to ask you, I want to know, let's start first talking about what you think so here's what I'm thinking. Like, I'd love to know what you think the trends are overall in travel. I'd love to hear about what you think the trends within Turkey are, your area of expertise. And then I'd also love to hear what you think the trends are in packing as well, because that is one of our favorite things to talk about, or travel gear or something like that. So what do you think the overall trends for 2026 are?
Okay, first of all, what we are hearing every day in our regular lives on the TV and all that, the changes that's happening globally. So the political impact in global politics is going to have is going to be shaping some of the countries that people visit. Let's put it this way: there is a trend lately that a lot less people are visiting US because of these visa issues and some other political impacts. But on the contrary, after the new mayor that's been elected in New York City, there is a trend for visiting New York. So you see this more in searches like booking searches and plane tickets coming to New York. So those kind of things are going to have a lot of impact on it. Like Italy is doing a lot of their prime minister. What was her name?
Giorgia Meloni.
Yeah, Meloni. Meloni banned some type of clothing for Muslim women. Like you cannot wear hijab in Italy and in open public spaces and like museums and all that, things like that. It's probably going to affect Middle Easterns not wanting to travel to Italy, but going to change. So these kind of little things like Middle East, North Africa. So these kind of things are going to be having a lot of impact on it. And obviously we never talk about it, but global trends, when you look globally in Asia, in Europe and in the Mediterranean, Russians are big, they travel in big numbers. So we can definitely say that they at one point dominated Vietnam, Cambodia markets, Thailand markets. They used to come to Turkey a lot, which they are still coming actually for sea and sun. So I don't know what's going to happen in that section as well. So globally, there's going to be a sort of change in there. But for a longer, much longer effect on the tourism, especially in Europe, the sustainable tourism is a growing trend. Not only a growing trend, actually, it's becoming foundations for European tourism. I started seeing, especially after my son Atesh wants to study this. I started seeing that there are like several universities that are taking it very serious, not only having master's degree, but they also have undergrad degrees for sustainable tourism. These are like international degrees, by the way. So
Hold on. So your son wants to go into tourism?
Well, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. My son is standing right in front of me looking at me with daggers because neither of my
But
kids want to go into tourism. Congratulations, Taylan. What a great dad you are.
well, thank you. I hope he'll be he'll be going he'll be successful. I don't know. We'll see. So the sustainability we keep hearing a lot. So I cannot go into details and say that this is it for this is what sustainability for tourism uh, because it's something very new and not really set up correctly. It's probably going to be shaping in the next decade or so, and will be standardized for Europe or for Asia differently. So sustainability is going to be important. We're going to start hearing a lot more of the sustainable tourism thing in the future, but in a way longer term, I'm saying. The trend that I started seeing, it's obvious. Have you seen the news with the snowfall in the Kamchatka region of Russia?
No, huh?
It's like
I saw just a photo of it, and I thought that couldn't be real. I guess it
that's
was.
not AI. That's not AI. Like it is massive snowstorm that covered majority of the cities. I mean, people are opening their windows from fourth floor or sixth floor of a building, and they're just jumping into snow. That
Whoa.
that much. So in the past 5 years, especially in Europe, we started seeing a decline in uh, ski resort management. Majority of them started closing down, actually, which was obvious for reasons no snow, the change in the climate. But it seems like this year is the other way around. But it's a very drastic change. I mean, like from no snow to terrible snow, no snow to terrible snow, from like 0 to 60 over a year. So this year, starting from this month, actually, tomorrow I'm going to a ski resort, a small ski resort for my son because he likes snowboarding. But starting from this year, we're going to see maybe if this weather trend continues, we're going to see a lot more reasonable and more ski traveling, especially around in Europe. For Turkey, definitely what I am seeing is the people visiting Turkey, not Turkish people visiting Turkey, but foreigners visiting Turkey, are mostly coming here for food. And yes, even though we've been criticizing social media for that, for a lot of reasons, but social media has a lot of impact on the food and the food trend, food and cuisine of Turkey and culinary arts of Turkey, and people start coming to Turkey with places in their hands, in their minds, saying that I like to eat this here. I like to try this restaurant in this city, and especially I like to go eat this dish in this restaurant, kind of thing. So I started hearing this a lot, but a lot of people are coming for food because Turkey has Eastern Mediterranean all blended in, not only Mediterranean, but also Asian and Middle Eastern influence as well, and it became a whole melting pot of all the cuisines around in the region. So
Well,
yes,
that's good news for you, Thailand, because that's part of what we like doing, right? We like taking
yes,
people out and
definitely.
showing them. I mean, and I think that Turkey has not ever really been given enough credit for being a culinary destination, and it
I
really
think
is.
so too. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
cool.
Also, uh, the 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 comeback of the hiking trails, we started seeing a lot more active tours. This year, when we were doing past year when we were doing the sailing tour, I was shocked to see this swimming tour. They swim every day. I said, what are you doing? And they said, we swim every day, 5K. 5K every day. A boat will be following them, and smaller
Wow.
dinghies will be following them, but their main boat is going to follow them. So they live on board and swim, just like we are doing our gullet thing. They live on board and swim. So there are diving equivalents, hiking equivalents, biking, mountain biking equivalents that I started seeing. There's a comeback. I'm saying that this is not something that is created this year. So there is a comeback in this market. So more active tours that we're going to see, especially the great hiking trails that we have, Lycia. I believe that is going to be starting to become more popular. Again, Taylan is another thing. And you mentioned at one point like train rides, not globally, but Europe. In Europe, you start seeing more trains, obviously, but it was kind of expensive to use the trains in some of the destinations rather than flying. Train was sometimes much more expensive. There is a certain trend even in Turkey that we started seeing people wanting to use trains, especially this younger generation. More interested in traveling with trains rather than flying. And at
I
one
love that.
point, I'd like to hear from you what do you think about the cruise ship? We cannot leave this conversation without the elephant in the room. The whole cruise industry is like
That might
covering a
actually be
massive
its
part.
own, that's kind of its own
Yeah.
podcast, even, I think. What do we think about cruises? I think I have such a complicated relationship with my feelings about cruises. So maybe we do actually just have a conversation about that between the three of us.
Why not? Okay.
Yeah, because cruising, it's really bad, but also really great. And I'm extremely conflicted about it. So we'll have to have a longer conversation about that. So I love all of your trends, Taylan, and I particularly love that the swimming one. We should do that with the sailing one.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Have you tried swimming at 1K, like 1K?
Do you know how badly I want to go on that sailcation again? That was so amazing.
You should come again. You should.
I know. Are we doing it this year? I don't remember.
No, we're not doing it this year.
Okay.
But we were open
27.
for, yeah. But what we're open for custom tours if anybody would like to bring a group of people. So that's, I'm telling you too. I mean, if you want to come with your family and
Well,
friends.
I'm absolutely thinking about that. That's for sure, to rent out that gullet and go out with just even my family. But I think we're going to resurrect that for 27. I think that'll be an every other year adventure. So those are some excellent forecasts there, Taylan. So Andrew, what are your predictions for 2026? And by the way, if you're just joining us, let me just give a quick little break here. If you are joining us now and you just jumped in on the conversation, we started off with our 2025 look back. What did we see happening in the past? And now we're all kind of predicting what's going to happen in 2026, first from kind of a global overall perspective, and then with respect to our areas of expertise. So Andrew, of course, is an expert in Eastern Europe. So Andrew, tell us about your 2026 forecast.
Well, just one thing I want to piggyback on what Taylan was talking about, which is Turkey getting more visitors for food tourism. A lot of people wouldn't think about this because they think of UNESCO as these physical sites, but UNESCO has lists for like intangible cultures, which could be music and art and dance, but they also have cities of gastronomy. UNESCO has designated that, and they put their weight behind it, and Turkey's got two of them. And we visited both of those cities when we did our Southeast Turkey tour like 3 years ago. So, that's a cool thing. And to be honest, like, I don't even know all the cities on that list, but like, if you Google that, UNESCO cities of gastronomy, that's just a great idea if you do like food, because it's not just, hey, great food, it's tying in with the culture and things like that. And that's important as well. So I think with a lot of things, we were talking a little bit earlier, you were talking, Sarah, like, hey, Gen Xers aren't here just to tick all the boxes and try to see as much as they can in 2 weeks. Some of that is like, hey, we want a more, like, a deeper experience. So I think it's what we've been offering for a long time. Is it's not like, hey, here's a bunch of great food and wine. You got to put it into context and see, you can actually learn something from it, because all that stuff tells you a lot about the culture and the people who live there. So I think whatever you want to call it, that kind of experiential travel is I think more and more people want that. They want some experience, not just these sites. And regardless if the young people maybe aren't drinking as much, everyone still needs to eat, and I think everyone really does love to eat, because it is a great way to experience something new. Through taste. One thing that I've noticed, that I think we've all read these articles now, and it's a little bit about sustainability. We've read all these articles that Europe's going to have this backlash against mass tourism, and Venice is going to make you pay to visit their place, and Barcelona doesn't want anyone there, and all this stuff. And I think we're going to finally feel some of that pushback on our wallet, because what I've noticed, Sarah, is a lot of cities and countries, but cities can make up their own city tax. They're not saying, "Hey, give us this amount of euros." They're saying 5% of your hotel bill is what you need to pay us for the city tax. That's going to be covering, let's say, the garbage, all these things that the traveler doesn't pay for, like the locals do. And I've seen that. I've seen that increase between different cities and different countries, whether it's like 15 euros a night in Greece, or Vienna's charging 5%, and next year it'll be 7% of whatever your total hotel bill is. And I think those are the things that actually might, I think at some point money does talk, and you're like, do I want to go there, or do I want to pay this? Because I still think everything's a little bit unchecked. Like, they talk about cutting down on mass tourism, but if you still have all these cheap flights, I mean, people are basically traveling all over the place for pennies on the dollar. And so I don't think anything is going to change too much until it actually starts affecting us. And you think, whoa, okay, I don't know if I want to pay that. I think we're going to see more of that starting this year.
That's such a tricky question too, because doing it as an occupancy tax is actually a really regressive form of penalty, because often these people who are the super cheap travelers, they don't stay in city centers. They'll stay at a hostel at the next town over. Venice is such a prime suspect there, because they actually want people to stay in Venice, because if you sleep in Venice, you're going to eat in Venice. So the people who are doing a lot of the damage to cities are actually the ones that are never going to pay that occupancy tax. So I'm a little bit feeling like that's maybe not the right approach. I think, I don't know, there's got to be some better way to be able to tax like the ultra cheap traveler who is actually causing a lot of congestion but not contributing economically to the city. So I don't know how I personally feel about that, but I think you're right. I think there is, but on the other hand, and this I guess goes to my 2026 predictions, I think we are going to start to see a slowdown in travel. I hate to say it. I'm looking at my crystal ball, and the headwinds are not great right now with world politics. So I think we are going to start to see people slow down travel planning. And I think they're not going to plan in advance. And we've been seeing this as a trend. I think all three of us have been seeing this as a trend over the last couple of years. And it's kind of infuriating as a tour operator because we want people to book a year in advance, man. We want your deposits so we know that the tour is going to go. But more and more, we're seeing people that want to book a month or two out, and that's really hard for us. So I think that we're going to either see a combination of things. We're probably going to see a slowdown. I'm going to say a 5% slowdown at least in travel this year in general, especially for Americans. But I think we're going to see people doing a lot more last minute booking, because a lot of people right now that don't have a trip on the board and are going to be like, oh, I'm going to wait and see how like world events play out. Well, world events are going to be a constant dumpster fire all the time. So if you're waiting for the optimal moment to book that tour, it's right now because it's not getting better, guys. It's going to be a dumpster fire. So like, I guess this is the trend I'm seeing, is people finally realizing, oh gosh, waiting to book that trip is not actually going to make that trip better. I'm just going to book it at the last minute anyway, because I'm going to be sad I didn't book a trip, and then I'm going to pay more. Because that's what happens when you wait to book stuff, is you end up just paying more. You're going to pay more for your flight. you're going to pay more for everything. Or the tour that maybe you wanted to go on got canceled because everybody else was waiting too. So I would like to just put a little word out there for all the tour operators and hotel owners and tour guides out there. Please just book the trip. Don't put it off saying, oh yeah, no, I'm just going to wait until the political situation calms down. It's not going to, guys. It's not. Just go ahead and book it. So I think there is going to be a lot of last minute travel this year. I think there will be a slowdown, but a lot of last minute travel when people realize they made the mistake of not booking that trip like they planned because they were waiting to see if conditions would improve. I think the slide in the dollar is going to really heavily affect the choices that Americans make this year. I think they may be looking to things outside of Europe, like North Africa, Southeast Asia, things like that. Turkey is a really great place to go if you're looking for value for dollar. Eastern Europe is a great place to look, like Romania. That's a great place. Our Romania tour is almost sold out for next year. So I think people are looking for good value for dollar based on the slide in the dollar versus the euro. But I also have a feeling, and this is just me, I'm really getting exhausted by digital input. I mean, this is a Gen Xer speaking, so of course the youngins love the AI stuff, but I'm getting a little bit exhausted by the digital age and the anxiety of being online and the anxiety of constantly reading the news. I have started knitting again. And it's been so good for my mental health to go back to doing things with my hands, right? So my travel prediction related to that is I think we're going to see a lot more people interested in doing retreats, not like staycations or tours, but like retreats where and I'm actually thinking about putting one together if people would be interested in doing this. I think it would be really fun to like rent a house in the Tuscan countryside or go stay with my friend Roberto, who has a house in the countryside, and stay there and work on, like, teach people watercolor or bring knitting and work on knitting or teach knitting or something like that. Because I just feel like people really have the urge to get offline for their mental health. So that's one of my predictions that may or may not come true, but I see a trend in people wanting to travel as a way to take themselves offline, to be in the moment, to not be thinking about world events that they can't affect anyway. You know, you as an individual probably can't do anything about it. So should you be sitting at home feeling sick about it, or should you go on that trip and turn off your phone? And I think that that's going to be a trend, people coming on trips, turning off their phone and looking for ways to engage with their hands, with their hearts, doing like we always do so well on our trips, connecting with locals, you know, getting to know, you know, the people in a village, or getting to know the guy who makes your cheese. I mean, Andrew, you do that so well with all of your winemakers, and Taylan, I know you do that as well. You've introduced me to so many interesting people that you work with in Turkey, and, you know, our international friends like Hoda. Like, if you want to feel better about the world, go on our Egypt tour and let Hoda give you a big hug. Like that, these are the people that you need to connect with. And so that's my overall prediction for travel as a whole, is I think people are going to start more and more, especially people our age, to reject the constant immersion in online stuff and being everything digital. I really feel like there's going to be more of a using travel as a means to increase your mental health and really enjoying the moment and really trying to connect with the things that matter. So that would be my feeling. I'd be curious if those of you watching feel like that's a reason you want to travel now. Because I feel like for me, it's almost spiritually healing to be in other countries and to be a little bit away from the noise of the constant news cycle and just really focus on what are the things that matter. And I think that understanding that the world is a community and we are all brothers and sisters, like that is the thing that that's what I've learned over 25 years. Like Taylan and I have a better and closer relationship than my brother and I do, honestly. Like that, I mean, you can connect with people in other countries and they become your family. And I just really feel like that's the energy we need going into 2026, is understanding, and not just understanding of, oh, I understand you and I have differences of opinion, but that we are all one. We're all, you know, we're all a part of the same spirit. And I can get into reincarnation and all of that, but I won't. But this is my feeling, is I think that this is what we need travel for now, is for spiritual expansion, connection, and to create more of a sense of, you know, our differences are fewer than our similarities. So that, you know, that's kind of my philosophical end. If I'm speaking about Italy in particular, which, as you know, is my great passion, I think in Italy, I don't know. I mean, I hate to see the Instagram and TikTok stuff keep going. I don't know if it feels like a juggernaut right now. So I don't know if that's something we're going to see lessen in 2026. I think as far as regions go, I'll be very interested to see which regions become hot this year. I'm going to say Calabria is probably going to become pretty hot. There's a lot of Americans in particular with Calabrian heritage, and Calabria is a very affordable place. So I'm going to say Southern Italy, Sicily, Calabria, Sardinia. Some of these destinations that are a little bit outside of the main tourist pipeline, they're also much more affordable. Like so Southern Italy is very, very affordable. It's cheaper to travel in Southern Italy than it is to travel in the US. And sometimes you can get flights that are, practically the same cost as flying around here. So I would say Southern Italy is going to be the hot ticket this year, especially because of its affordability. Of course, Northern Italy, the Veneto and Milan, that's going to be hot because of the Olympics, and there's always an effect. So I think Venice, Milan, the Dolomites are probably going to be really hot regions because people are going to see lots of beautiful pictures over the next month, and they're going to be like, I want to go. So I have a big feeling that this year and potentially next is going to be really good for Northern Italy. I mean, it's the same as when Paris was at the Olympics. We got tons of reservations for our Paris Christmas tour during that time frame. So I would say that would be my prediction. And then as far as like travel in general, as far as packing and things that we're doing, I think the trend is still going to be bringing stuff you don't need. That's going to be the trend of 2026. Exactly what Taylan said. That resonated with me a lot. So thank you for that observation. People bringing stuff they don't need. So it's going to be my mission in 2026 to fight against that. You don't need fairy lights. You don't need electric candles with you in your backpack. I swear to you, you don't need those things. So I'm going to be doing a lot of writing, I think, in videos about you don't need that, just talking you down off of the ledge about what you really don't need, because I do see people bringing more and more random stuff with them because they think they need it. I also would like to put out there in the universe, and I don't know if this will be a trend, but I would like to put it out there, is I think we should reuse our travel gear and patch and repair our travel gear and maybe trade travel gear, like, kind of be a little more sustainable just as far as we go when we're talking about clothes and stuff. I mean, things we bring, upcycling clothes to take on travel, trying to figure out how to be more sustainable just from the point of view of the things you take traveling with you. And also thinking about sustainable things you can bring home with you. I think that is a trend. Instead of just bringing a bunch of like plastic tchotchkes that were made in China that you bought in Piazza San Marco, which is so stupid. Maybe people will think instead about bringing home a bottle of olive oil, or bringing home something that was physically made there. Like if you're in Venice, the same good example, bring home like a beaded necklace made by a person like that you watched them. They did it. They showed you how they made the beads and they made it in front of you. I think that has been interesting to people, but I think that's going to become more and more of a trend of like, you don't need tchotchkes. It's better to support local artisans and also bring home consumables. I think consumables are a really great way to bring things home from your trip that can kind of remind you of your experience and also like reduce the amount of stuff we own. Because I guess I'm at that age where I don't want any of this stuff. I don't want my wedding china. I don't want that. I don't want the crystal that I'm not a 1950s housewife. I'm not going to have a dinner party for 12 of my husband's colleagues at work. I mean, we don't live like that anymore. So less stuff, I think, is going to be my trend. Bringing wine home, that's a great thing. And I think people will probably be bringing more things like wine and things that are heavily tariffed home in the United States, because the like Campari, which I drink enough of that I don't really want to tell you how much Campari I drink, is 12 euros for a liter bottle at the Rome airport. And it costs $50 to buy that same bottle here in Seattle this week. So I'll tell you what my souvenirs are going to be this year. Taylan, you had a comment?
Yeah, I mean, when you were talking about the stuff that people should be looking for while they travel, one thing that I like to see is that I like a comeback for the digital cameras. I think we should bring back all digital cameras with us. I mean, just to have the perspective not of our phones, but like a real photography visor that you look through a lens and you see it. It's yes, it could be old school, but I think that would also keep us a little away from the screen of our phones as well.
Well, and I'll take that and I'll raise you one, which is, you know, the thing I almost bought for my kids for Christmas is Polaroid cameras. They make those.
Oh
Did
my
you
God.
know that? They still make those. And
Yeah.
like the kid, I mean, anytime you see kids having those, they think it's magic because they've never seen anything like that. And they're just so much fun. So that, I mean, honestly, if I were to pick up one random thing, like I'm going to India in about a month, and like that would be so fun because you can take a picture, a selfie with a local and then give them the picture. Like
Exactly.
what a cool interaction is that. So
Good
yeah, like
idea.
which is kind of like this idea of the analog, right? Like going back to things you can touch and feel, not just things that live in the ether, right? I love that idea.
Thank you.
Andrew?
I think I think almost every tour that last year there was someone that had an actual camera. Because I'd always point that out, and be like, "Oh my goodness, like who like this is great." But then it was like, do you need to like take that whatever little card out of the camera? How are you gonna get those photos to everyone? But it's so strange just to see people with like a camera that wasn't a phone. Because I mean, one, you got a better camera, you can, and two, it's nice it's great just to leave your phone in the hotel room and be gone for a day. And I know most people don't want to do it because they need that's how they take pictures of everything. But one thing that I would like to do, I mean, I thought about this maybe a year or two before pandemic, just when everyone always seemed to be on their phone, even before the TikTok, Instagram saturation. I would like to see kind of, let's say, the travel industry say, hey, can we just have one day a year where it is like the no digital day? It's digital detox day. I don't even care, like me, even if I'm driving and I need it for GPS. Sorry, I can just print out my Google Maps. I can memorize the directions. It'd be nice to have one day where everyone, when you're traveling, is just like, nope, I'm not going to even have it next to me. I'm not going to sit at the dinner table. And if I'm not in the conversation, I'll just stick my head in my phone. It would be really nice if we can do that, even if it was just for one day where everyone said, okay, you have to talk with someone, or just like shut up and meditate and write bad poetry. Like Sarah was talking about, let's take a train somewhere and write bad, think we're great poets and end up writing some crappy poetry. But let's face it, that's more interesting than just rereading the same stuff that you read 364 days a year.
Andrew, this is going to be another one of our podcasts. You and I are going to go dig out our travel journals and have a reading, and it's going to be humiliating.
Oh yeah. Oh, good.
I'd like to hear that.
Idea. Yes, exactly. But like, I don't know if did I actually write that? Oh crap.
I'm afraid to. Honestly, I don't even want to look. I feel like burning those journals from when I was traveling. I mean, I wasn't good at keeping up with journaling anyway, which is so funny since I'm like an actual professional writer now. But like, oh, they're going to be terrible. So yeah. Anyway. All right, so I think we have had some wonderful predictions. I think that hopefully some of these things will come true. So I think we should close by saying, like, let's on a personal note, what is one hope you have for 2026 for yourself? And let's not talk about world politics. I think we all have the same hope for that, but let's talk about, like, just for ourselves in our own personal lives, our professional lives, what is one hope you have for 2026? Let's put good stuff out into the atmosphere. We're going to manifest. So who wants to go first with the manifesting?
Okay, again.
Thank you, Taylan.
Okay. Unlike the new generation, what they're called like Gen Z. Yeah. Unlike the new generation, I like to drink more this year, but but not in a bad way. The good stuff, like high quality vodka, premium whiskey, really good mixology, good cocktails, good wine. So I'd like to try a lot more of the better drinks. And I like to do this with people that I enjoy or that I will be enjoying, and also my loved ones, like my family.
10 out of 10 for Taylan debunking every myth about Islamic culture. Thank you for that, Taylan.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
High five on that one. All right, Andrew, what is your manifest?
I'm gonna say, so last year I met this I had a local guide in Oman, and it was the first year he was a tour guide. He was like 23 or 24, and he was so enthusiastic. I talk to him like once a week on some kind of social media because I just see a post and I say, "Hey man, blah 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 blah." You know what? I would like to meet because it was random that I met him. Obviously, I didn't even plan it until like he was the guy who showed up to drive me around. I want to meet more. I want to meet more people that are just like that are not burned out, that are not like, oh yeah, this is this and everything needs to be, taken. We need to, spend every second of our time taking photos of this or that. I want to just meet more people who are passionate about whatever. It could be like, like five old guys drinking the Iraqi in Turkey, or it could be, some young person sharing something. I just want to meet more of that. I want more passion. That's what I want. I want more passion from people and more enthusiasm about whatever it is. Those are the people I want to meet because it totally rubs off on you. I think that kind of personality when you're traveling, it gets you more excited because it's so much more fun and so much it's just I don't know. It was something that really kind of gave me a nice high, and I'd like more of that.
I love that. Well, what I'm manifesting for this year, number one, I have to just say, is all of our tours being sold out. So please, if you're thinking about booking a tour with us, stop waiting. Please, you're making us lose our minds. We know there's a bunch of you out there planning on booking tours with us because you actually told me face to face. Please just book your tour because you're making us crazy waiting around thinking, oh yeah, that tour is definitely going to fill up. I know it is, but don't sit on your hands, go book a tour. So that's just my first manifestation. I want all of my tour guides that I love so much like family. I want us all to be able to feed our families and pay our mortgages. So please do book a tour if you are thinking about it. That's first manifestation. That's for all y'all. Second manifestation for myself is actually very similar to what you just said, Andrew. My manifestation for myself this year, my wish for myself this year, is for me to stop worrying so much about world events, about the business, about all these things that I can't control, and to be more inspired and focus more on the things that have always powered my ingenuity and my creativity, which is kind of the reason we're all here, right? So I want to go back to making prints. You guys all love my prints. I want to go back to making art. I want to make art. I want to knit. I want to paint. I want to write. I want to do all the creative stuff that has kind of made me the person that I am. And I just haven't had time because I've been so busy running the business and worrying and raising kids and stuff. And I'm starting to carve time out for myself to do that. And I want to also have more opportunity to do new stuff that is maybe not tour related, but is travel that feeds creativity for me. For example, one of the things I had in mind is there's this thing called the Piatti di Buon Ricordi. It's an Italian thing where there's all these restaurants. Actually, Andrew, you and I should do this together. These restaurants in Italy, it's a guidebook I just picked up in Rome a few weeks ago. And it has, if you go to these restaurants and you order a specific dish, they give you a commemorative plate. I thought they stopped doing this years ago because they used to do this a long time ago, but they still have this program. So I want to go on this quixotic adventure around Italy, eating in all these restaurants where I can get this special plate, hand painted like Deruta pottery plate. I want to do that. I've always wanted to do that. It's a stupid thing. I've always wanted to do that. And like, that would be so fun to write about. So like, I want to do these funny little adventure things that maybe don't have anything to do with our business, but that I can do cool social media about and I can tell stories about. And I want to tell good stories, right? I want to tell you guys good stories. So I want to go have some adventures so that I can tell good stories. And they're not necessarily to directly power our tour program, but more just to like feed everybody's adventurous soul. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm manifesting for myself this year. I haven't planned any of this. I'd love to do like an art retreat with a bunch of people. That'd be fun too. So if you guys have thoughts about that, please drop some comments on this video. And I would love for you to help me manifest all of these things. But that's kind of on my mind, is like, how can we as a community, a travel community, inspire each other to think good thoughts, to put good energy out in the universe, to be inspiring to each other. So I absolutely agree with you, Andrew. I think that is that, and there's so many inspiring people, like so many people we travel with that are just, inspire the heck out of me. I think about Kip and Wanda, who I love so much, that are some of our favorite travelers. They inspire me every time I see them. I think about, the people. I think about Kyung in Cambodia. He inspires me every time I talk to him. Like, who are the people that inspire you in your life? And how do we get that energy and tell our story in such a way that we inspire the people around us? Because every person is inspiring. They just don't know how to tell their story, right? So anyway, so that's my thought.
Sarah, I'm inspired to be inspired. You inspired me to get more inspiration.
I'm on the drinking side right now, so
Taylan, you're inspiring me to drink more also. So yay.
I'm inspired. And I do have a manifestation for you two characters. My manifestation for you two is I want you guys to go on a buddy road trip to go investigate some insane new itinerary. So like that is kind of the thing you guys do.
doing it again.
I think that's actually going to be covered pretty soon, Sarah. So yeah.
Good. So I'm manifesting a buddy movie for you two, where there's a lot of drinking and a lot of mishaps and a lot of laughing. And is your Uncle Inky coming too then?
Maybe.
We got to push him to the yes.
Yeah.
Definitely yes. Yeah.
All right. So I want a buddy movie.
Let's have a buddy movie where like 20% of the time we just have to censor stuff for whatever reason, that would be great. I would consider that a win.
I will say the three of us are showing great restraint in our use of language, because I literally have had to stop myself from using curse words today. So high five to all of us for keeping it clean on this podcast.
Yes.
Because if we were drinking, there
freaking amazing, I tell you.
Yeah, we definitely could not be live streaming if we were actually drinking and hanging out together. So anyway, well, I hope all of you watching out there have enjoyed our 2026 projections of what we're going to do, what's going to happen next. I hope that our predictions do come true for the most part. If you love our nonsense and chatter, we do have a podcast, which we do not promote and we haven't posted enough episodes of. So there's my manifestation for Andrew. Andrew, post our podcasts. And we're going to try to make some more of those for you, the three of us chattering about whatever comes to mind as far as travel goes. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Taylan in Istanbul. And thank you to Andrew.
Thank you so much.
Oh, always. And Andrew, thank you for joining us from Koper. No, you're not in Koper anymore.
Yeah, Koper.
Oh, you are in Koper. Okay,
yep.
In Slovenia.
No, close enough.
Slovenia.
Close enough.
And for me here in Seattle, I wish you guys all a very lovely day. Stay tuned this week for lots of good fun. I swear to you, I will be cooking for you this week, and we will have a slideshow. And one last thing, Andrew, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm hosting a collection of hot and interesting and inspiring mini slide shows with you, Sarah.
Yeah, so Andrew and I this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, watch out for this weekend. Andrew and I are going to be live streaming at least one day, maybe Saturday and maybe Sunday. We'll see how much we get through. We're going to be doing a lot of nonsense. We're going to live stream a whole bunch of little mini slideshows to talk about what we did last year, what our favorite travels were. We're going to give you slideshows of some of our tour itineraries that we want to make sure you guys didn't miss. So please join us this weekend for a whole bunch of fun winter nonsense. We're definitely going to have some wine in hand, and we're going to hopefully inspire you to do your own travels this year. So please join us this weekend for our, what are we going to call it, the mini travel fest or the drunken travel fest?
Yes, but maybe, drunken and mini and blah, blah, blah travel fest.
Mini drunken, mini drunken.
Mini drunken. Or maxi.
Mini drunken, I already have it.
Oh, you guys are making me feel lame. I just have hot tea. I've been sick this week, so I'm drinking tea. Anyway. All right. Love you guys. Mwah. Thank you, everybody out there, for joining us, and we'll see you again this week. Ciao.
Goodbye.
Ciao.